Welcome to I'm Not Toxic, Just Misunderstood. I'm your host, Callie. So in this podcast, I'll have a new guest come on every episode, and they'll go into toxic relationship they've been in or like events in their life that kind of change their perspective on relationship as in whole. And I thought it would be nice if I start off with my story on the first episode. Um, I believe that we looked to the relationship and religion to find peace and happiness. You know, more like religion, we try to find guidance. A lot of people look to religion to kind of believe there's an afterlife, things like that. But with religion, relationship, we look to that to just find that peace, happiness, and just protection. And often relationship does not bring that. And my story started in 1996. I was born in 1996 in Liberia, Monrovia, Liberia. It's on the west coast of Africa. And during the time I was born, there was a war going on. There was a civil war going on. And as a war baby, you kind of missed out on a lot of things. Like baby pictures. I don't have a baby picture. The only picture I have as a kid was my passport picture. The picture on my passport. And when I was born, my father left Liberia to travel the world because his family had money. So I was left alone with my mother. And she became my superhero. A year or two later, my mother got remarried. And then she had my little brother, and she was pregnant with my little sister when her husband left to come to the U.S. While he was in the U.S., he worked on our visa to come to the U.S. and become this family. So a year later, we got our visa. And I believe we had 2 weeks before our visa can expire. So within that time, you have to get a plane ticket and come to the U.S. That's how it worked. So while we was like preparing to come and thinking our ticket was about to be bought by my mother's husband at the time, he served my mother with some divorce paper. So this whole time he came to the U.S., he found another woman and he remarried. And it was just weird. So my mom is kind of shocked, like this man been living a whole double life. And his plan was to just get my brother and sister ticket and then forget my mom and I behind, and our visa would expire and we would stay. And my auntie was in the U.S. at the time, so my auntie paid for my mom and I ticket, and my mom, my brother, and I, we came to Minnesota where my auntie was living at the time, and we stayed there for about 6 months. But during that time we was there, my mom cried for many months, many days, let me say. And that was my first time seeing my superhero cry. Hurt, And in movies when Batman get hurt, when you see Superman get hurt, it kind of hits you another way, because these folks supposed to have superpower. They're not supposed to get hurt. I saw my mom cry for many nights, and it was because of love, which I really didn't understand at the time. I was just confused as a kid, like, huh? He really got another wife? It hit my mom, it ruined her, but she had kids and she knew she had responsibility to take care of. So with being a single mother and an immigrant, she worked many jobs to take care of us. And during the time she was working these many jobs, I saw different view of love from different places. Like one movie I saw as a kid was Forrest Gump, American classic. And in that movie, I learned to never fall in love, to stay away from love, because how that movie, like, if you saying that movie, you'll understand what I'm saying. And then I had a friend named Alex. I used to go to Alex's house a lot. We would play, and then I'll stay over for dinner. The kind of love I saw at Alex's house was his parents would make sure they tell him they love him, hug him, kiss him, they was there for him. And when I stayed for dinner, they would talk about their day, if they had problems, they would talk about it and things like that. It was different to me because my mother worked many jobs and she didn't really have time to sit with us to talk about our days, I envy that love. I wanted that love. That's what I wanted someday. I wanted a family someday like Alex. a wife, kids, talk to them, dinner, go on vacation, those, all that. And I'm not saying my mother was a bad mother. She was an amazing mother because she did what she had to do. And she made sure we knew that she loved us, by providing things that we needed. That's her way of showing love at the time because she didn't really have time to sit with us and do those other things because she had to work and provide. And then another view on relationship I had was the hood dudes I hung out with as a kid was having a lot of women made you cool. You was this cool. You was a player, respected. And I look at those kind of things now. It's like, that is really childish because these dudes had some great women, but I blame their friends for allowing them to think that they had to go and cheat and and have multiple women to look cool, because as men, we always want to look good in front of our friends and stuff. And have you ever had a friend and you look at them like, bro, you're the reason why women think we ain't shit. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm probably one of those men that friends look at him like, bro, you're the reason why women think we ain't shit, But as men, sometimes we have to step up and stop our friends from going to places that are going to compromise their honesty. If they have a good woman, it's our place to tell them like, bro, you have a good woman. Don't treat her that way, those kind of things. Stopping them from doing something stupid, from hurting this woman, And I never saw those guys do it. But as a kid, you kind of envy that too as well. That's what you want, you feel me? And when I grew up, I was in a lot of relationships, but I didn't fall in love until my freshman year of college. Freshman year of college, I met this young lady. She, we kicked it for about a week or two. We started dating, and out of nowhere, she just disappeared on me, And I called, looked for her, couldn't find her, She went ghost. And then spring break were approaching. I came home for spring break, and I met this other girl. And she was amazing. And this was my first time falling in love because she sold me something that nobody ever sold me. She sold me a dream, That life that I wanted, that family that I wanted from Alex, that I saw from Alex's family, that's what she wanted as well. She sold me that we can have that someday. And I fell in love with that. No woman ever talked to me like that. And no woman ever treated me the way she treated me at that time. I fell in love and it felt great. If I can do those 2 weeks all over again, I would. It was the best time of my life, being with this woman. And then I had to leave. So the day I was going to leave to go back to college campus, I got this phone call. And it was the young lady that went ghost on me. It's like, oh, the reason why I went ghost was I'm pregnant. I'm like, well, time out. You're pregnant. Like, yeah, I'm pregnant for you. You're playing football and you so focused. At the time, my whole goal was to be a lawyer, and I was really focused on that. And she's like, you're so focused and I don't want to ruin your life with this. That's why I had to leave and try to, make this decision. I'm like, okay, now I'm stuck. I always wanted this family and I always told myself the first woman that's pregnant for me or have my child will be the woman I'll marry. And that's what So, but I'm in love with this other woman at this time where it's like she has sold me that dream that we can have that, what I always wanted. So I talked to my girlfriend at the time and I'm like, the girl I was dating before you, she's pregnant. And surprisingly, she took that news real great. And she's like, we'll work this out, we'll figure this out. We just came up with a plan and she was really understanding. So I left and went back on campus. But I noticed like the first weeks or the first 3 weeks, it was cool. I still got I got care package from her, like Bible verses. Our relationship was good, but she started getting jealous because she wasn't there, And I always gave her that assurance that I wouldn't do her wrong, And then weeks went by, she started changing a little bit with the jealousy and stuff. And then this happened. It was the Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fight. That day, it was that morning we talked, and I'm like, yo, I'll talk to you. I got some schoolwork to do. I'll talk to you later. But when I'm heading over to my homeboy dorm to watch the fight, I'll call you, and we'll talk the whole way there. because it was a long walk. It's like, okay. So it came that time for me to call her. I called her while I was walking. She never picked up. You know, I got there and I'm worried now. You know, your heart is pounding when you love someone and you're, you know, they're not picking up your phone call. You're a lot of negative things start popping to your head, and it's like, yo, is she kidnapped? Is she dead? You know, and we have this long distance where I can't, you know, look for her and stuff and see where she's at. After the fight, she's still not picking up, and like I got home and then she picked up. I'm like, what's going on? You okay? What's going on? You know, I'm freaking out. And she's like, I was with my friends. I'm like, okay, usually when you're with your friends, you tell me I'm going to call you. Like, you didn't give me a text or whatever. And she's like, you know, I'm questioning her, and bam, she just decided to be honest. She's like, so I was at this party and my ex was there. I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you be at a, okay, what's, you know? And she's like, we made out and we kind of had sex. What do you mean y'all kind of had sex? You know, I'm freaking out now. Just, like, but my body, out of nowhere, I got this weird feeling. It was numb. Like my ears started ringing. Like I couldn't feel anything. It's like I was out of space. And my heart started pounding hard. And I got this sick feeling in my heart where it was like, what is going on? I never felt like this before. It was, oh man, it's like someone squeezing you so tight and sucking all the air out of your body, where I needed to breathe. And when I got back, I just snapped, just started cussing her out. Why the fuck would you do that? Like, you know? And then she started crying. And one thing about love, when you love someone with your body, your mind, your soul, and you hear them cry, whatever you're going through, you kind of freeze and you just focus on them at that moment. And that's what I did. I tucked my feelings away, you know? And I'm like, well, why are you crying? Like, you okay, you know? It's like, she's like, you don't have to be cussing at me. Like, yeah, what I did was wrong, but you don't, you know? And that's where it's just like, we started arguing back and forth, where it's like, it's so pointless when you argue with people that don't take accountability of their action, you know? And that's where I was at. And then she hit me with, you know what, we should just break up. We should just break up because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to. I'm like, no, we don't have to break up because I'm in love with her in my head, you know? I'm in love with this dream we created, and thinking now like, I'm going to be out here stranded, you know? Like, we can't break up. And man, it's, thinking about it to this day, it kind of hurt. But at that moment, I decided to tuck my feeling away for this young lady. And for years, I didn't know this would haunt me for years. You know, falling, like being with someone where you have to compromise your feelings for them, where you kind of tuck your pain away. You're kind of surviving just to please this person, you know, but you're hurting yourself in the long run. Like, what cheating does to a person is kind of ruin your outlook on relationship in the future. It ruin you as a person. It ruin your happiness. It take away your sleep. It just make you angry without you knowing what's going on. And you get these flashbacks every time. Sometimes you sit down. Sometimes you're laying with them and you get the flashback of like, damn, that's how it was with, you know, that other person holding them. You know, you can't even lay with them in peace. And I didn't know I was putting myself into that by telling her, like, we're going to work on this, you know, because I was being threatened that she was going to leave. I didn't want her to leave because I was stuck. Like, at that moment, you're stuck in like, damn, is it that big to break up? You know, this mistake, is it that big to break up? And then I was like, you know what, we don't have to break up. I'll forgive you, you know, but not knowing you can forgive someone, but not forget what happened. And we stayed in this relationship for a while. It was an on and off relationship where after she cheated and I took her back, the respect was out the window. She started disrespecting me in different type of ways. And one thing I'm going to say is there was so many mental abuse, where I became insecure, you know, where one thing I'm going to say, if you were with someone and you poke at their flaws daily, knowing their flaws before you started dating them daily, that's abuse, because you're creating these insecurity that will never leave. It's like you date a woman and knowing that they're fat before you dated them, but then you knowing she's fat before you fucked her. Now you're poking at those things little by little, telling her she's fat. Every morning she gonna wake up and look at herself in the mirror like, I need to lose weight, and she's gonna be hurt. These things last with you forever. I didn't know that's what this young lady did to me. And coming out of that relationship, I came out with so many insecurity, and coming out of that relationship, I didn't know this what it was gonna do to me. I came out of that relationship with so much insecurity where I went back to what the hood dudes taught me, that having a lot of women, I started looking for ways to look good in front of people, hiding my pain to the world. Usually we try to lie to the world. We focus so much on the world looking at us in a good way where we forget to heal. And that's what I did. And I went back with my insecurity. I started thinking having more women would, people wouldn't see my pain if I have a lot of women. They're going to respect me like, yo, Kelvin got so much women, and not knowing that Kelvin is hurt. A lot of men, we take these pain and insecurity. We try to look for public acceptance, the public to accept us in a way where they wouldn't see our pain, not knowing we're killing ourselves deep down. And that's how I was for a while. And other women I started dating, I started hurting them. And this is where I would start saying sorry. There was this young lady I hurt the most. And she know who she is. I would not say her name because as she watched this and she would catch on to the story and she'll know. And I'm sorry for hurting you. I met this young lady when I came back. So when I came back, while in a relationship with this young lady, after she cheated on me, going back to that relationship, after she cheated on me, I took a year off from college. When I came back, I got a call from the girl that said she was pregnant for me. Like, mind you, I'm like sending her money and, doing all this. Her cousin's like, yo, like, that's not your kid, So I'm like, damn, she was playing me, you feel me? So I'm like, okay. So getting out of that, that's another pain that I'm walking with now, getting cheated on, getting lied to that I had a kid, taking care of another man's child. Like, I'm just hurt. I'm a hurt dude out here. So, and what I ran to was just hurting other people to hide my pain, stabbing other people to hide my wound, just to look tough, beating up other people to hide my scar, so we can match, and we can all be hurt together. That's how I was. Not knowing, I really didn't know I was doing that, but that's what I was doing. And so I met this young lady. My homeboy at the time, he had a huge crush on her. And he would be like, and she liked me. He'd be like, yo, hit her up so she can come kick it with us. That's the only way she'll come around if I say, yo, pull up on us, And he think that's his way of, he would kick it with her or whatever. But I didn't try to like initiate a relationship or mess with her at all because my boy liked her. But one day we were just kicking it alone, and one thing led to another, and we started making out, and then boo, boo, boo. When you're in that moment where you're about to have sex, as a man, you would do whatever. You would say whatever. And then she stopped and said, I don't have sex with people I'm not dating. I'm like, no, whatever, we're dating now. You're my girlfriend. Yeah. As a man, when you're in that moment, you would do whatever. You say whatever. You would even promise a woman a unicorn, my nigga. Like, you just want to bust a nut. That's how you feel. And then she stopped again and like, when I have sex with people, I fall in love with them. So I'm just letting you know what you're getting yourself into. Yeah. Went on. After you bust a nut as a man, you snap back into reality where it's like, oh, damn, I'm in a relationship now. I wasn't ready for a relationship, At least like with that woman, because she was a serious person. She was on her shit, And I treated her like trash, Her being in love and I'm not being in love with her, I treated her like trash. And when people know that you love them and they know you accept any bullshit from them, oh man, they will give you all the hurt they have. And that's what I did. All that hurt I got from this other relationship from that one lady, I started projecting that on her. And I hurt this young lady for so long. There was a time where she caught me cheating. I was at my boy house and she walked in and I was in the middle of these two girls, like, and I'm making out with one of the finger banging the other one. And she walked in, looked me right in my eye, and then it hit me like, damn, what the fuck are you doing? She walked out and I chased her. I'm like, yo, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, it's okay. And then she's like, I'll just call you tomorrow, and walked away. Thing in my head like, damn, this relationship is over. She just caught me cheating. But the next day she called me and she like, I'm about to pull up on you. She pulled up, hopped in the car. We went to this park. While we driving, I'm thinking like, she about to kill me. Like, cause like, damn. She stopped the car and she goes, oh, I got something for you. I'm like, damn. What did I just put myself into? And she gave me a present. At the time I was DJing, there was headphones. I took the headphones. I'm like, oh, thank you. She's like, yeah, I know you're going through so much right now, yada, yada, yada. And in my head, it's just like, is she really accepting my BS? It's like she didn't just catch me cheating on her yesterday, and not knowing, she told me about this before, that she fall in love with people that she have sex with. Thinking that I'm the man. I have sold her this dream too as well. She was holding on that dream that I was holding on to when that one young lady cheated on me. And oh man, I hurt this young lady for so long just because I knew she loved me and she wouldn't leave. And having that upper hand on her, man, I would just like to say I'm sorry for hurting you for so long. If I can do anything I don't know. Last time I seen her, it was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed to even say hi to her. Even, I hit myself. I hit myself the whole time because it was like, I really hurt this person, and I'm sorry to the other people that she hurt because I hurt her. Because hurt people, and a lot of us are hurting other people because we are numb to. We didn't leave the right time. Or we've been hurt before and we didn't heal the right way. So we're just out here trying to, just find ways for the public to look at us like we're not hurt, so we're hurting other people. And I would like to say I'm sorry to this young lady and other young ladies that I hurt as well. But that's one woman that stuck out a lot, because, man, I did so many wrong things to her. I used to take her car and just, while she at work, just cheat on her with other women and oh man, I did so many wrong things to her. And I'd like to say I'm sorry for embarrassing you, disrespecting you in public, the way I talked to you, the way I treated you. I'm so sorry for the hurt that I put on you. And that's just a little bit about me and my relationship and my first love and my outlook on relationship. But as I got older and got into more mature relationships, I lean onto therapy, and reading more and just understanding myself more. And I'm still in the process of, healing the right way. Because usually when we kind of come out of those relationships, we don't heal, We just jump to the next relationship, or, we jump to I jumped to drinking a lot at the time too as well, and just forget about healing the right way and just really understanding that hurt. But as I grew older, I leaned onto therapy more, reading more, and just understanding those things and know like saying sorry and just accepting you're wrong and knowing you're wrong. It kind of helped out a lot. But that's my story. And I hope if all these other women that I hurt, I'm not saying the hurt that I put on y'all was not it. is not important, or I don't view it as hurt at all. I'm sorry, the liquor is hitting me right now, but I'll just stop it right there and just say I'm sorry. And I'm not toxic. I'm just misunderstood. And I'm not looking for sympathy at all. I'm just asking for empathy. Please put yourself in my shoes. And yeah, that's it. I'll see y'all on the next episode. I'll have a guest on, and they'll tell me their story, and we'll just, chat it up a little bit, and we'll kind of heal together. As this podcast go on, I hope we heal together, and other people can go back and say sorry to the ones they hurt, and just understanding we leave hurt on people when we leave relationships sometimes, even though we don't see it as hurt, but yeah, this is I'm not toxic. I'm just misunderstood. I'm Callie, and yeah, have a good night or day or wherever you're at. Peace.